Good morning, my dear children. Uh, how are you? I hope you are fine. I have a great pleasure in welcome you for this online class. The purpose of handling this plus two syllabus for you is to make you understand all the difficult concepts as early as possible. Then you may find enough time for elaborate revision for your effective public examination in 2022, that is 21-22. Now, you may have some obstacles while listening this online class, but as far as my knowledge is concerned, most of the students are mainly concentrating on this online class, though there are some limitations. But postpone all your entertainment and try to focus your attention on this online class, which is going to be last for only a few minutes. So please pay your attention on this. Now, in the last online class, we had a nice discussion on the topic theories of income and employment. And the main discussion was focused on the types of unemployment. You have already understood the meaning of full employment, unemployment, and the concept of underemployment. All these are all the very important concepts that you must keep it in your mind. Once you understood, no chance of erasing the meaning of all these concepts. That is why you must be very attentive on this online class. Now, we are going to uh, discuss on the topic that is the classical theory of employment. Classical theory is composed of different views of the classical economists on the issue of income and employment. Uh, Adam Smith, who is regarded as the father of classical economists, wrote the book, An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations in 1776. Since the publication of this book, the classical economists such as David Ricardo, J. Mill, A.C. Pigou, J.B. Say developed this classical theory. Actually, the classical economists assume that the economy operates at the level of full employment in the economy. That is, the functioning of the economy is being operated without inflation in the long run. That is what they assume. And they also assume that the wages and prices of goods were flexible and there existed competitive market in the laissez-faire economy. So these two, what they assume. JB says, its law is the core or the basis of the classical theory of employment. He was a French economist and an industrialist. He enunciated the proposition that supply creates its own demand. Therefore, there is no overproduction or the problem of unemployment. This is the law of J.B. Say, that is law of market. Even all the classical economists had great faith in the law of markets. That is why they supported this concept in order to understand the level of full employment. That means what? The economy operates at the level of full employment. The market forces adjust all types of situations in the economy. That is, what they advocated. Now, according to JBC, when goods are produced in the economy, they are paid the factors of production, that is, rewards. When the goods and services are produced in the economy, they are paid rewards. So, what are the factors of production? You see, land, labor, capital, and organization. These are the factors of production. You see, land, labor, capital, and organization. Without these factors, production cannot be functioned. That is why these four are very essential to produce goods and services. So, these factors of production. Now, the households, after receiving the rewards of the factors of production, spend the amount on the purchase of goods and services. Okay, so whatever the amount that is received by the household is spent on the purchase of goods and services. Therefore, each product produced in the economy creates demand equal to its value in the market. Okay, now as I already mentioned, all the the classic according to classical theory, the economy is in full employment. It is a full employment economy. What do you mean by full employment? And what is the meaning of unemployment? And how do you understand underemployment? All these doubts were clarified in the last online class. Okay, so whenever I express this concept, you should not have any confusion or any doubt regards with the meaning of these concepts. So be clear and be understood of all these concepts. Now, so as the amount is spent on for the purchase of goods and services, this product, that means this situation creates demand equal to its value in the economy. This is what the JB say expressed clearly in its definition or in its law. Now, according to this law, it has some importance, that is implications. What are the implications of Say's law? One is, before that, we must see, and as already mentioned, every economic law or theory is based on assumptions. So JB says law of market is based on certain assumptions. One is there is no single seller or buyer of commodity, and there is full employment, and there is long run analysis. The next is the people are motivated by self interest. Self interest determines economic decisions. And another assumption is that the laissez-faire policy is essential for an automatic and adjustment process of the employment equilibrium. Then another assumption is that there is perfect competition in the market, that is in labor and product market. Then money acts as a medium of exchange. There is no need for government intervention. And the rate of interest brings the equality between saving and investment. So these are the important assumptions of Say's law. Now, as far as implications are concerned, the first is there is no possibility for overproduction or unemployment. The second thing is if there exist unutilized resources, it is profitable to employ them up to the level of full employment. What do you mean by full employment? All the resources are completely and efficiently used or utilized. That is called full employment. Underemployment means what? All the resources, example, labor, are not fully utilized. That is called underemployment. Now, the next is automatic price mechanism operates in the economy. There is no need for government intervention. And the last implication is that money acts only the medium of exchange, as people will not hold money or idle money. Okay, not ideal money, idle money. IDLE. So people will not hold idle money. So these are the implications of Say's law. Okay, now we come to the main picture of this classical theory of employment, that is criticism. James Keynes vehemently criticized the JB or classical theory of employment. According to J.M. Keynes, supply does not create its demand. It is not applicable when demand does not increase as much as production increases. You see, for example, we can say 1 crore 40 lakh tons of paddy is increased. That means the production of 1 crore 40 lakh tons of paddy is produced. This is beyond our, limitation. Or we have excess production. We have excess production. Do you think that when the production of a commodity goes on increasing, the people will try to increase their demand? No. As the as the production of rice is going or increasing, the demand for the people will not increase. Or the production, when the production increases, the demand for the consumers will not increase as much as it increases. Okay, so this is the first criticism put forth by J.M. Keynes. That means what? Supply does not create its demand. Why? Demand does not increase as much as production increases. Then, next thing is James Keynes says that the automatic adjustment will not remove unemployment. That means what? Unemployment can be removed only by rate of increase in the investment. Unemployment can be occurred because of non-utilization of the available resources, non-utilization of the availability of the human power. But employment opportunities can be created. How? When the rate of investment is increased. When the government increases the rate of investment, it paves the way for giving ample opportunities for employment. That is why in the second criticism, Automatic adjustment process will not remove unemployment. So the unemployment can be removed only by increase in the rate of investment. Have you understood this? Yes. Now, the next third criticism that is put forth by James Keynes against this law of market is money is not neutral. Individuals hold money for unforeseen contingencies. At any time, anything may happen. Did we expect that Corona would come and attack the people of the world in 2019? No. So unforeseen. It's an unforeseen. Sometimes tsunami occurs. It's an unforeseen. So individuals hold money for unforeseen contingencies, while businessmen keep cash reserve for future activities. That is why money is not neutral. Okay. Next, the overproduction. That means the Say's law is based on the proposition that supply creates its own demand and there is no overproduction. This is what they say. But Keynes significantly attacked this law and said that overproduction is possible. What the classical economists say, there is no overproduction or the problem of unemployment. Whereas Keynes argued that there is overproduction. Overproduction is possible. Next, Keynes also regards full employment as a special case because there is underemployment in capitalist economy. Okay, so when the economic, the depression occurs, the depression occurs in the 1930s. All the capitalist countries were severely affected. So the only theory that enabled all these countries which were depressed on the economic depression were raised their level of economic development. Only with the help of the theories of or the general theory of employment, interest and money by James Keynes in 1936. That was the only remedial thing that emerged as a redeemer of all the capitalist countries. Now, that's why the James Keynes considered full employment as a special case because underemployment is found in capitalist economy. Then the last one is the need for government intervention arises in the case of overproduction or the mass unemployment. When there is overproduction, government should intervene. Otherwise, what would happen? The producers will meet the loss because of overproduction. Whatever the products that were produced are not sold, then the loss is occurred. The loss is occurred, and the producers will meet the loss. So that is why the government should intervene and control the production level. That is why James Keynes said that government intervention is very much. Government intervention is must. There should be government's role in the economy. That is why the full employment and the overproduction So mass unemployment and overproduction, these two problems arise, then the government will come and solve this problem. So there needs government role. There arises the need of or the intervention of government. That is what advocated to the you know giving the suggestions for this theory of general economy and employment, interest, and money. Here, as far as James Keynes is concerned, overproduction is possible. Unemployment is also possible. So that is why he advocated all these points and attacked the J.B. Say's law of market and overall the classical theory of economy or employment was criticized by J.M. Keynes. J.M. Keynes, he wrote the book, The Theory of the General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money in 1936. It is really a significant work that marked, the turning point in the development of modern economic theory. But what the classical economists assume the, you know, self-adjustment. Economy is self-adjust because automatic price mechanism adjusts all the situations. That was mainly attacked by JMC. Okay, so these are the important criticism that you must keep it in your mind. So, what are the things that we have seen? First is the classical theory of employment. Okay, that means JB says law. What is JB? What the JB law assumes? Supply creates its own demand. The JB says law of market defines that supply creates its own demand. But practically, supply does not increase demand. That is what Jenkins argued. Now, how this law is criticized by Jenkins, and it has some assumptions, implications. But critical points are very essential to know about the classical theory and the James Keynes theory of employment, interest, and money. Okay, these are the various important points to be understood between classical theory and the theory of James Keynes. I hope that you have understood all these points and you just go through this topic in your book. And if you have any doubt, that you can send a message that can be clarified. So, my dear children, stay home, stay safe, and follow all the protocols of the COVID-19 and follow very strictly and also bring all the levels to your family and to your parents and to your neighbors. So you should set a good role model in following the COVID-19 protocol. Thank you.